And ChatGPT helped me build the survey platform of my dreams. Day 3, long awaited, right, y'all? It's been a long 2 months, maybe, I don't even know. So I wanted to come on here, give a quick update. I technically have a day 3 and day 4 update. First things first, after my last update, it was kind of when ChatGPT was like, oh my gosh, all these tools that I said you could use to build your platform, like, not actually the right tools. You need to go in this like totally different direction. Not long after that, I was on a call with someone and they were like, oh, like you're building the survey platform. That's so cool. Have you heard of lovable.dev? And I was like, no. And they're like, it can probably just like build the platform for you. And I was like, huh, really? And they're like, yeah, it's like you just type in what you want the platform to do and it just like builds it out for you. And so naturally, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was intrigued. I was gonna have to start from scratch anyways and like learn all these new tools. And I was like, well, if it can do it, like, let's go, Lovable. So I got a Lovable account, sat down, super pumped to just have it like build out my magical survey platform. And spoiler alert, it didn't work. It couldn't do it. I'll put in a little clip of me trying, but like long story short, I want like a simple platform, but to me, like simple platforms are like intuitive and easy to use. The back end can still be complicated, right? Or they can still like need to be able to do complicated things. So as I do, I was like, I want to go for like what I assume will be one of the hardest features. And if Lovable can't build it out, then like this isn't the right tool for me. So I was like, yeah, build me a survey platform. Here are all the types of questions I want it to be able to ask. And it couldn't do all the question types, specifically side-by-side. Of side-by-side questions, I recently used a side-by-side question to kind of do like an evaluation rubric where someone had an organization, they were evaluated on multiple dimensions, and they wanted to know how often it did things on time, how often the things met their like standards, met their quality expectations, and then also have a comment for like each of the activities. That's a side-by-side question. It looks so much cleaner to have everything together. So like, I just love that question type. I wouldn't want to build a platform that didn't have that in its like toolbox. So this is Lovable. I put in my little prompt in here saying that I wanted to build a survey platform. I talked about all the features that I wanted it to have. And like, how do I even, down here. And it started to build, right? And I love that it's purple because I had like envisioned this as being purple, honestly. So it just like read my mind. So good. Um, but I put in all the things. I tried to put in like the most advanced features that I would need just to see if it could work. It took some time, and I mean, I'll show you what it made. Um, Here's the welcome page. Click get started. Click create your first survey. My first survey. This is all seeming, I mean, this is amazing that it can even do this, right? Click to add a question. Then you can click your question types, right? And so like you can add a multiple choice question. You can copy it. Can you copy it? The copy button doesn't work. The settings button doesn't work. I'm like, when did things start to fall apart? When I decided that this wasn't going to work for me was when I got to the side-by-side question. And like, I don't understand what's happening here. Like, I mean, I do. It's putting a question side by side with another question, and that's like not what I meant. So I like mentioned that. I said like a grid isn't the same as a side by side, and it's kind of just like getting in deep and telling me that it's going to like create a proper side by side question. And you can just see me getting like a little sassy down here. And just mentioning that like the logic's not working. I don't see a loop and merge. Like I just wasn't seeing the things that I would have wanted for my survey platform. Like, here's the thing, like this is pretty good. It's super cool that it can do this. But based on this example, I was like, yeah, it's not going to be able to build out the features that I want, you know? And to me, like a simple survey platform needs to have complex features in order to allow you to do good questions. And like, I just didn't see this working well for me. I also personally didn't feel like I had like enough control over how I wanted things to look, but super cool that it could like bang this out in like 5 minutes. It just couldn't do it. It seems like a super cool tool. It's just like not there for advanced things. So back to the drawing board in terms of like, not really back to the drawing board, back to the latest recommendation, which was to build using React and FastAPI. So that is where that little like lovable detour ended and how it went. And the other update I had for day 3 was working on building out my training set for the AI piece of my survey platform. So I've been like pulling together all of these like survey before and after. This is a bad question. This is a better question. Here's why it's better. Here's the feedback you should give to get there. And I have this like beautiful spreadsheet, tons of data, tons of information in it. And sorry, I'm drinking sparkling water. I'm like, and so I've been working on building out my data set. Not really an exciting update. It's pretty tedious and boring, and I'm neurotic, so I want it to be like really good, really clean data to feed into my AI. So day 3 update, shortcut with Lovable did not work, and building a data set to train an AI algorithm is tedious. So fast forward a few weeks, chugging along on my little like data set, kind of like leaving the platform building like on the side because it's a lot to juggle. It's 2 completely separate things, right? There's like the platform and then there's like the training model, and I have work. So didn't have a lot of time other than just like working on like building out my examples until we get to like day 4 that I had to dedicate to this endeavor. And on day 4, I decided, F it, I have, let me look how many examples I had. F it, I have 32 beautiful, clean examples. ChatGPT said, hey, that's enough to start training your AI model. And I was like, I'm just kind of curious, like how this training even goes. Like, is this gonna work? So I decided to just like dive in and try it. I decided to train it using open AI. And I had thought about fine tuning with other models, but honestly, like I'm sold on the ChatGPT interface. I love it. I like working with it. I think it mimics my speaking style very well. So I decided to do it with OpenAI, training their 3.5 GPT, because that's cheaper. And look, y'all, for bootstrapping this, I don't got money to put towards it. So training that. And I decided to like dive in, upload my data, and I'll show you a little preview of what that looked like and how the training went. Okay, I'm super nervous. I fine-tuned an AI model to give feedback on surveys, and this is gonna be my first test of it. Not expecting perfection, but like anxious that it's just gonna be horrible. So I've been putting it off. This has been ready since like yesterday. Crazy. I just was like, I'm avoidant. I couldn't even look at it. So I'm gonna put in this survey question, which is from a SurveyMonkey template, and see what my model says. Okay. What? So it didn't give feedback on the survey question at all. Interesting. Hold on. Okay, so I think this is my bad. I chatted with ChatGPT. I think this is my bad because I didn't clarify what I wanted it to do. Hey chat, I have a draft survey question and I'm wondering if you can give me feedback. Here it is. Whew. Let's see. My thoughts. You may want to frame the question in present or past tense. Okay, that's not bad, but it's not what I've trained it on. Okay, so this is like pretty generic feedback. I'm gonna try if I put it like survey question, answer choices, and see if this helps prompt the type of feedback I trained it on. I'm just trying to figure out like what it learned and what it didn't learn. I didn't ask for feedback again. Like being a bad user. Yep, okay, interesting. Let's see, what do you think of this survey question? This is so interesting. This is why I wanted to start training earlier. So what this is telling me is that it learned something from my training data, but not what I thought it did. And now it's actually giving advice that I disagree with, which is bad. So, how to fix this? Okay, so I had a little chat with ChatGPT because I have these like really detailed before and after survey examples that I'm training on with like commentary. And I've asked for like pretty specific type of feedback. And obviously, like based on this output here, it's not getting that. Part of that's my fault because I am not like, why am I just typing in my survey question and thinking it'll improve it? I guess because of the instructions I gave the model is why I'm thinking that. But this like these type of responses, I'm like, oh, like you must not have learned anything. But I know my training data is good, so my thought is that it must mean that the way I've structured my training data is likely like too structured. Like it's not how a real person would present a survey question. It's like how me, like a researcher, would like categorize a survey question and responses and like hyper specific feedback. So I'm going to try to reformat my data set, fine tune it based on that new data, and see what happens. Okay, I am back. Refined the training set a little bit. I'm gonna try this again. Say, hey chat, can you give me feedback on this survey question? Let's do this one. This is from SoFi. Let's try it like this. We'll see. Okay, let's see. Question clarity. The question is clear and easy to understand. The response options make sense, however, it might be helpful to provide an I don't know. Okay. Some of the phrasing could be improved. The question could be revised. Please indicate some degree. SoFi has not had a data breach recently. It's the same. Alternative question. Please select one response for each row. I mean, it's not terrible. It didn't catch that I wouldn't want a neutral option, so that's something I'd want to tweak in the training, because like what does it mean to neither agree nor disagree with having had a data breach? And this is not the structure I asked for feedback in, so let's check. Okay, so it's not giving results in like the format I suggested, so I'm gonna try I'm actually just gonna try a prompt from my training set. So I'll do, hey chat, what do you think of this question? No, it's still not using. Interesting. Okay. All right. Third time's a charm. Let's see. I made some tweaks to my training set again. I just changed how I formatted everything. And I'm going to put in a system message and also I think a user prompt down here and see how this works. What I want to do here is like give it the format I want something back with. I get so anxious about this. Let's try, hey chat, can you help me improve this survey question? And so then I'm going to pull one exactly from my training set because it should have the best chance of getting it right. Something I changed with my training set this time is I put in like, well, a few things. One, I added in like an introduction because like, I don't know, I always include an introduction when I ask something. And I also uploaded different versions of the question input. So like some of them I used like a bulleted list, some of them I separated the answer choices with a comma, some of them I separated them with a semicolon to see if that helps. This is actually kind of a hard question to critique, so maybe it's not the best one to start with, but okay, all right, we got the right format, so this is good. Yes, okay, this is what it was trained on, so that's exciting. That means by tweaking my formatting, now at least for an example it was trained on, it's getting it right, which is a win. So now let's try one it wasn't trained on, and I'll say like super helpful, thanks, because I'm just curious what'll happen if I do that. Yes, okay. How about this one? On a scale from 1 to 10, how challenging was our course? 1, not challenging at all. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, extremely challenging. Let's see what it says. Okay, what's not working? Ask about course difficulty with vague language. Facts. Using a single Likert scale that treats challenge as a universal experience. I think what it's getting at there is like what I say in feedback is like so many different things could be challenging or not challenging, so that's not quite how I'd give the feedback, but I think it gets the general, I think it gets the principle, but it's delivering it in a weird way. How well did the course match your experience level? The course was too easy, just right, too hard. That's not actually a checkbox style. That makes me think something's weird in my data. But overall, I think we're getting closer, which is really exciting. I was nervous before because we were really off base. Now I want to look at my data set and see where I'm saying checkbox because that's no good. So, end of day 1 training, like what did I learn? First off, I learned like I like a clean data set. I like things labeled and very neatly categorized. AI does not. Like AI doesn't need that. It doesn't, how it learns doesn't even really depend in this instance on like tags and having categories in different columns. So like at the end of the day, I was like, wow, like I need to completely rethink my approach to structured training examples and instead just have like someone will type in all of this. And if someone types in all of this, I want you to say something like this. And so it's just like 2 columns, which is really fascinating to me. I had no idea that that would be a better way to put it. I still personally, for me, like to have my data neatly organized and tagged. I think it's more helpful for other things and for record keeping purposes. But for training the algorithm, like the messier my input data got, the better it got at giving the survey feedback that I wanted to give. Something that was like a personal win, in my opinion, was that it's still not great at giving feedback, right? I mean, I'm working on a pretty small set of examples. It's only 32. I would probably need in the hundreds or thousands to start it to, probably need hundreds into the thousands for it to start really getting good at reviewing surveys. But generally I was like, yeah, like it's hard to make AI like a content level expertise. I thought back to like, should I go back to like the prompt engineering where it's like, if it sees this, then it does this. And kind of where I came around is like, good survey design is so contextual. Like it matters so much about like your goals for the survey and what specifically you're asking about. So the rules are challenging to apply because they look different in different scenarios. So what I ultimately decided to do, so stay tuned. I've finished version 4 of my algorithm. That's what you just watched. And for the next version, I've changed up a few things. For starters, I don't want it to give structured feedback and then like, what's wrong, what could be better, here's a suggestion. Instead, I want it to do more of like a coaching model where it asks clarifying questions to guide you to rewrite it better yourself. Now, some people are gonna hear that and be like, ugh, like that's so annoying. I just want it to rewrite the question for me. Okay, well, like this is not gonna be the tool for you because I think you will get better survey questions if it prompts you through the steps of like good survey design and gives you unique feedback to your questions and has you rewrite them. So I've been tweaking my data set. I'm keeping in my before and after makeover examples. I think they're good to have in there, but I've also been adding in just more like coaching. Like when I see a question like this, like here are the things I ask as follow-up. And then in the app portion of it, I'm using the checklist I have for good survey question design from my book as like a fail safe. So I'm putting in some specific instructions to be like, always look for these 7 things, something like to signal double-barreled questions, looking for numerical answer choices like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that aren't labeled. And so I'm putting those instructions in there explicitly as like a fail safe so that if it doesn't catch things through its like learning pattern, it has that checklist as backup. So we will see how that works. I'm generating just hundreds of additional examples of questions that like speak to the same themes but in slightly different ways to just like really try to improve it. But I am honestly like encouraged by the improvements I saw even just over the course of that day. It was literally just a few hours working on it, tweaking the examples that go in, tweaking the instructions, and I personally feel like it made a lot of progress. So that is super exciting to me. So that is the day 3 and 4 update. Stay tuned for day 5 because I'm just filming these all together to get caught up. And then in the future, I'm just not gonna obsess about like being a mess on these videos because I totally wanna document this process and it's way easier to document in real time. So see you soon.